And we believe there's probably 3.5 million veterans who are exposed. So it's a huge number. Right now, in terms of airborne hazards and open burn pit registry, that website has about 212,000 veterans already registered between 2014 and August 2020. So we have a long way to go, and people need to know that they are covered and that these diseases will need to be treated. We also want to create the ability to have expertise in these areas, because what we found in the 9/11 health bill is that a general practitioner doesn't know what these diseases are related to and then don't know how to treat them properly. So what we need to do is develop an area of expertise for physicians to know this is what happens when you are exposed to a burn pit, so they can get the best treatment and save their lives, because a regular doctor won't know. And that's why the specialty has to be developed, just as we did for the 9/11 survivors and the 9/11 individuals who were exposed and got diseased.
And I hope you're all catching the catch-22 here, which is that DOD and VA don't collect the proper data, and then they put out a study saying, we can't help you, we don't have enough data. And you have to wait for us to get the data that we never collected. Pretty convenient. And a lot of nonsense. And I just remembered there was an internal Pentagon audit, $125 million of waste, fraud, and abuse could be saved over 5 years. So guess what? Just from that, we have the money. Yes, sir.
During the VCF fight, the first responders and the survivor community, the Lila Nordstroms, the John Fields, they were forced to make hundreds of trips to Capitol Hill over well more than a decade. I'm curious, from your perspective, what are your biggest learned lessons as an advocate to help prevent the same path forward for these families so that they're not also here hundreds of times knocking on doors?
I just don't know. I mean, John Field can speak to that more than I can. The only thing that I can say is injustice thrives in the dark. And so the strategy for them, whether it be from ignorance or malevolence or incompetence or laziness, is to keep this in the dark. And our job is to force this into the light and to make everybody face these brave individuals and explain to them why the most obvious fixes can't be accomplished by a government that purports to support its troops over all else. It's simple. Yes, sir.
John, if I can, on behalf of the veterans I represent at connectingvets.com, and to the congressional officials, what's something we can actually do? Everybody says get the bill passed, but for my fellow veterans, as you've mentioned, without 100 trips to the Hill, do you guys hear our tweets? Because I tweeted a hell of a lot of Congress people on the Veterans Affairs Committee, and
they don't.
I mean,
they don't.
What
they
the
don't.
hell should I do to get this?
So here's what we're doing. It's not that this issue hasn't had attention or effort, right? But it's got to be concerted, and it has to have a central locus, and it has to be done with a certain focus and intention. So what you can do is we're going to create moments where we activate our entire population, because we have to create enough noise to get their attention, because you see, they just walk by. That was 50 minutes of nonsense, of self-congratulatory nonsense, while real people facing real consequence stand here waiting for help. So in those moments, what I would say to you is, and anybody out there who's connected to an organization that has stake in this, follow Rosie, follow Grunts Up, follow all these groups. We're going to create a time where we can activate everyone in a concerted moment to get their attention. And in that moment, we're going to need all of you.
Can I just, let me take you guys down memory lane. In 2010, we were that little engine that could. We got lucky, we got a bill passed. 2015, we were that big engine that did, and we got a bill passed. Last year, you guys all know, we got a bill passed. So there's 433 out of 435 congressional districts represented at Ground Zero during the 10-month cleanup. So while we had the voice of Jon Stewart and the media behind us, we also had the American people. And we had 9/11 responders and volunteers in every state. And we had them do local interviews. Then we had them go to their congressional offices. So when we deploy everybody this time, we're going to be that much bigger and that much stronger. And we're going to go to congressional districts throughout the whole country. Not one will be left. Then we're going to have all of these soldiers affected by the burn pits, their families, their widows. They're going to do interviews in local TV stations, radio stations, print. And we are going to suffocate a body of work, a dysfunctional body of work. No offense to you two, you guys. And we're going to make their lives miserable. We're going to put our foot on their neck, and we're not going to allow them to come up to breathe. If they get on board, we're going to challenge them to get their colleagues on board. So today, like Jon said, we're planting the flag. Now, we're here to let you know we're in the mood for a fight if it has to go that way. We come in peace, but we're ready to fight. And we're fighting for human life. We're challenging the humanity of members of Congress. Because before you were a Republican or a Democrat, you're supposed to be an American. And before you're an American, you're supposed to be a human being. And if you don't get that, then you don't belong in office in the first place. So, today starts what is going to be a marathon. Jon Stewart really has nothing to do. Last time I checked, he's feeding goats and pigs on his farm.
I'm a very busy and popular man.
But here's the thing. Jon's responsibility is 10 times larger now than it was to us in the 9/11 community. You know, when we held our last press conference after the bill got passed in the Senate, Jon said he would follow me anywhere. I held him to that now. And now I will follow Jon anywhere. And while I'm never, ever, ever married or loyal to an institution, I am now married and loyal to these people behind me and the thousands that can't be here today. I will die for these people. I will give my last kidney for these people. And I will punch a member of Congress in the mouth for these people.
We don't want you.
Yes, no, you guys stop sugarcoating and stop playing nice. For years, we played nice. For years, we played by their rules. And every time we played by their rules, they made up a new set of rules until we outworked them, until we outthought them, until we outhustled them, until we got legislation passed. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times in D.C. Five times. We are 13 for 13 now in getting legislation passed. And with Jon Stewart and these ass-kicking warriors, I like our odds.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Jensen. I'm Chief Strategy Officer at Grunt Style. I couldn't be more proud to be part of this project and what we were trying to accomplish here. If you remember 7 years ago during sequestration 2013, they had shut down all the national monuments here in Washington, D.C. The power that the veteran community has is that we can activate as fast as possible because that's what we do. We know this. We know this game. Right? In 2013, we brought tens of thousands of veterans down here, and we opened every one of these monuments, carried those guardrails all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue and threw them into the White House lawn. We circled the White House and we let them know this was not acceptable for our community. These deaths that are happening in this community is unacceptable. We didn't go to war to come home to die by something that our government did to us. I lost my best friend, my CO, my XO, many of my friends and my family. I have cancer because of this, and they're dying. I'm not going to stand for it any longer. I'm going to use this platform that Grunt Style has built over the years to connect with every veteran in this country. I'm going to create heat maps of every legislator, representative, and their constituents, and I'm going to activate them all. I'm going to get them to send every one of these legislators a letter saying, We demand you to act now. And for all those veterans that are up on the Hill that are doing nothing, that have passed nothing, I'm telling you, as John said, John Field, we're coming and we're going to fight. We know what fight looks like, and it's not over. At the end of the day, it remains the same. We are in the fight for our lives, and I'm not going to die on my own soil because of something the government did to me or any one of my brothers and sisters anymore. Yep.
You exchanged words with some of the representatives as they walked by. Could you tell us what was said or what the spirit of that conversation was?
Well, you know, they're up on the steps of the Capitol here, talking whatever it is about. Well, you know, America's worth fighting for, and you're absolutely right. America is worth fighting for, but you know, these are the men and women that are actually doing the fighting. At the end of the day, when you know, politics fail, what happens? It's the United States military that has to go and clean up the work. And every time, it goes back decades, centuries, these veterans are left holding the bag. And every one of them, you saw it. They walked by, they looked at us, and they kept walking. And they shook their heads like we're the scum. No, it's over. Mark my words, guys. It's over.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rosie. I appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you so
God
much.
bless you for your testimony. I'm sorry this happened to you, and I will do whatever I can to make it right. You.
Starts.
Do you want my cell number and my information so you can call me? That'd be great. Okay, let me get that for you. Do you have a card so I can give them out? And
We want to get you guys, when you're done with that, come over to the side. Because we got John, both Johns to come over and get a picture with us.
great. You were awesome, by the way. So this is Brooke's card, and this is my cell. Okay.